Hey, okay. So, why is this microphone not working? Hopefully you can hear me. I'm scrambling to get set up here because this. Oh, you know what it is. I know what it is. Check, check. Nope, nope, that's not it. Check.
Check.
Oh,
Oh,
found
found
it.
it. Found it. Okay, let's go ahead and mute the RTG and or NTG and go back with the road. No, I'm sorry. Ooh, I should really start over, shouldn't I? Hey, everybody. This is John. Hopefully, you're doing well. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. My computer is not showing me the output of the show, which it's supposed to. Hey, oh, there it is. All right, so and it's showing that I'm getting audio. So let's go ahead and um, all right, the audio is working, so that's good news. At Verizon Wireless, there is a wireless network disruption in Fairview, Tennessee. We're working to fix the issue. We we estimate that it will take around 14 hours to get fixed. Wowzers! You heard it here first, folks. Don't be traveling through Fairview, Tennessee anytime soon because yowzas, that is a long delay. Hey, it sounds like we're not listening to the art. Hey, yeah, now it works. Okay, so the dealio was it was the NTG2 because this thing was muted, and it's just because Windows likes to mute it when you first fire it up. But, it's working now, and that's all that really matters, right? Because we love the RE20. It is the way that audio should be. So thank you so much for coming along here. Let me jump over to socials and throw your comments into the chat. Now, Randy is over on the Keystone AV Network's YouTube channel. Unfortunately, I just can't watch two at a time. Give me 1 second. I got to mute because I got a phone call coming in, and this one's important. I'll tell you what it is in just a second. Hello? Hey, how's it going? Okay, here we go. Sorry about that, folks. Just had to make that very important phone call because that was my builder. That's the supplier, and he was telling me that my shingles are now going to be here sometime next week. So he said it could be any day, but they have been ordered, and they're again, that's the same line that I have been given multiple times over. So still no shingles on the top of my house, on the top of my garage. Unfortunately, we're planning on getting rain here the next little while. So, yeah, hopefully, okay, audio's good. We're getting some rain here in the next little while, so hopefully that's not going to damage the building too much. But I am getting a garage door installed tomorrow, mañana. So looking forward to having that done. I need to make some phone calls. Matter of fact, I need to make so many phone calls today that I went out and got my headset from my truck because just holding my phone up the whole time is really annoying. But hey, we're in good working order, and hopefully that is progress. I don't know. But anyway, so Chad says, hey, it sounds like we're listening to the RE20, or we're not listening to the RE20, and then he said, no, it works. So you are correct. I was using the NTG2 because I couldn't get this thing to work, but it was just a Windows setting, so we're good to go there. Why is Vimeo open of all things? All right, we're just going to close that down. Hey, why don't I put up my soundboard because that's so fun to watch. I think it's cool. We'll put that over here on the right-hand side, and we'll watch the RTA. Oh, we'll watch the RTA. What's the dealio here? Here we go. All right, RTA. We're going to watch the RTA. There is a glitch in the X32 edit software where if you click on a channel and then you have to cycle the RTA button in order to get it to show, like it's showing here now. But that's the RTA for this microphone. So it's fun to watch. Pretty. As a sound guy, it's pretty. Okay, so there's my hand. First and foremost, we have a little bit of progress on the garage front. The next things to do on that is for me to get my act together and stop being sick and get out there and install some stuff. So, truthfully, most of it's on me, although the builder has to come and finish the wall that they're building inside, and then they have to finish the shingles, which they're planning on doing all of that at the same time. And then they are planning on putting in the garage door tomorrow, so that's exciting. Hopefully that'll look pretty. And what else? Anyways, the garage is moving along. It's just creeping along. But finally, there is a little... Good morning, Angus. How are you? Thank you for stopping on by. Always a pleasure to see you. In the title of today's show, I promised you that I had some fun little announcements that I wanted to make about Keystone. And so we want to do that in a little bit. And also, I'm open to... I've been up to a lot of stuff. You might notice that I am feeling better than I was last week and the week prior. I am back to not coughing through the night and officially sleeping, which gives me a whole lot of energy. And then I drink several cups of coffee every morning, and so caffeine is a-flowing. And I feel really good. I feel a lot better than I have over the past 2 weeks, and so today is a good day. Hey, fun fact was on Sunday... this isn't the funny part. On Sunday, my lead minister at our soundstage was in the hospital. And it's brutal when he's not there because he is one of the linchpin pieces of our ministry right now. And so when he's out, we got to make things work. And so on Sunday, we basically turned our production over to our volunteers. And my coworker, Dave, and I delivered the message on Sunday. So that was an experience that I haven't had in a very long time. I actually have a degree in biblical studies, one of my degrees. And so it's something that I'm familiar with doing. I used to actually do some preaching in my younger 20s. I'm now in my 40s. So I haven't done that in a long time. But, anybody can preach one sermon. It's more of a matter of I couldn't do that consistently. The great news is, I got to speak on Sunday, and that was fun. That was a different experience, being in front of the camera at the soundstage. Of course, I'm in front of a camera all the time here. But I was in front of the camera on the soundstage, and Dave and I delivered that message, and it went pretty well. So that was exciting. Now, on Sunday, we actually did our church Thanksgiving. So it's in between Canadian and American Thanksgiving. So I do a third Thanksgiving, and that one we call Friendsgiving, and that's when the church family, because we're a soundstage and we're mostly online, we don't see these people very often. And so once a year we come together. Well, there was 60, 70 people there on Sunday, which normally it's 20 or 30. So there was a lot of people there. We had a meal that was somewhat catered. We ordered it from somewhere and we served it and had a good time visiting with folks. Well, that's the Sunday where our minister, gets to see everybody. And, of course, he was in the hospital. So he was having a rough go with that, not only because he really wanted to be at Friendsgiving, but also the medical stuff that's going on. So he is on the mend, thankfully. And Dave and I were able to fumble through the lesson. And it was like a status update about how we're doing as an online ministry. So that was something actually more in our wheelhouse than perhaps if we were to try and preach. So that was fun. And hey, stop being sick, Knudsen. Yeah, seriously, you're not kidding. But I'm well on the mend and feeling a lot better. So, and more on that in a minute. But anyway, so we get to be a part of the service in a different way. Now, it does mean that we handed off our production to our volunteers, and so it wasn't as all of the people that were doing the jobs we asked them to do were pretty much brand new at it. And so it was a good experience for them. And I think that there will be a chance to grow in those positions, especially with I gave directing to somebody, and Dave had to turn over sound engineering to somebody. And, those doors have been opened. And so now there's a chance for teaching and building upon the foundations that they already have. So we're pretty excited to have achieved that. Now, I'm building something here inside of vMix while I'm talking, and I'm just going to keep doing that real quick. So Sunday was fun. Hey, I had shingles. Chad says I had shingles once. It was while I was camping. It wasn't fun. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's brutal. I'm so sorry to hear that. Yikes. Yeah, camping. No. That's not cool at all. And of course, now you're going to watch. Now you're going to watch me try and do two things at once. And as we all know, I'm talking and misspelling things, and yeah, as we all know, that doesn't work. Let's image source input browse. What is that one? Nuts. Okay, that one. Okay. Browse. Sorry, so I'm building something because I didn't get around to it today, and I meant to. And here it is. Okay, now that's done. There's only one other thing that I need to do while I continue to talk to you. So throw some stuff in the comments. Oh, man, that's brutal. What, me having to preach? Because I agree with you. It had the potential to go belly up. Yay for coffee. Agreed. Coffee is the elixir of life. At least it's the thing that fuels this show. That's for sure. So good times, good times. Hey, I don't know if you noticed this. So Broadfield, right, or Video Guys, they produced a show all of November, 3 shows a week, which is ambitious, called NDI November. And they were definitely showcasing different companies and different NDI stuff and having roundtables. And it's actually been pretty good. I mean, the content on there, kudos to them for producing a show that has stuff that's probably worth watching. In particular, I really liked the live segments that they did. They had actual back and forth with some people. Elias was on there. If you know who that is, look him up over on LinkedIn. But he is the one turning into the GOAT when it comes to NDI, like production and like inventing solutions. And yeah, really cool guy. And so they had Elias on there to talk about those things. And that was super beneficial for all of us involved because we got to see and hear how his brain works when it comes to, well, we were doing this event, we really needed this sort of, we needed this solution. There was nothing out there. So I invented something. And that's not something that you hear very often, that, let me log in here. That's not something that you hear very often from a guy that's doing shows. He's normally like going to companies and saying, hey, I really need this. Hey, I really need this. I really need this. Well, push comes to shove. He was saying, I really need this, but instead he just went and invented it himself, which I think is pretty cool. This is not working. Sorry, I was trying to do something, but here, I could just steal this. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm trying to be sneaky about something here, but it's not working entirely, and it's all in an effort to, because I got an announcement that I want to make, and my brain does not do two things at once. So you are experiencing all of that in real time, everybody. Import image, yoink. I'm also doing this inside of. What? Is this not supported? I thought I did. Wait, I see. It's the wrong type of file. So if I open this inside Photos, and then I export this as a PNG, maybe that'll work. I know the anticipation must be absolutely killing you as to what it is that I'm up here. There we go. Save as PNG. Save. And now, is it done? Minimize this. Go to my desktop. There it is. We're going to move this over to my vMix drive. Yes, I have a dedicated drive in vMix for this show. All right, and then we say vMix, and then we say logo. We say okay. Hey, and then, do I got to make this again? I got to make this again. So, all right, I'm going to go into this announcement because I feel like, one moment, I feel like I need to get on with it here. So, as many of you know, I have a little business called Keystone AV Networks. And Keystone is there a way to change the background on this? Must be. Font color. No. Anyway, here. No. All right, well, that's not very helpful. All right, well, maybe that one's not going to work. Yeah, that one's not going to work. So, I have a little company called Keystone AV Networks. And that company focuses on helping people design, purchase, implement, and maintain AV over IP networks for whatever your solution may be. Now, I've mostly helped small operations up until now, mostly just getting them off the ground, getting things to work, and that's been super cool to try and see that kind of evolve over time. The reset. The adventure in that, the reason why I've been doing this is because people keep asking me to. They keep saying like, hey, I need some help with my network, or something's just not right. And my wife, after lots of poking and prodding, was like, hey, you should probably heavily consider getting into doing that. And after like 4 or 5 meetings, I was like, all right, I need to properly set up like an LLC and make sure that this is all above board and I'm not just, charging people and then, taxes and all that stuff gets kind of funky. So I'm definitely interested in helping people do that. Well, I have an hourly rate and whatever. I reached out to, this is part of the announcement, I reached out to Netgear and I said, here's my new little company and I definitely want to figure out, I want to promote Netgear stuff because I think they're on the right path. Their stuff is a little bit tricky in terms of, well, first of all, it's a little bit expensive, but what you get in the package is a whole lot of usability. And so I want to be able to tell people, look, if you hire me, I can help you from top to bottom, all the way down to implementation and training to get you off the ground and that you don't have to worry about HDMI cables and all that crap anymore. So officially, I have become a Netgear Drive partner. And so I am now a part of their Netgear partnership program. This allows me to help you purchase products, Netgear products. This can help you, this gives me like level 2 support through Netgear's Pro AV installation stuff. So Netgear's Pro AV customer support is amazing, but you definitely, does this change? Oh, cool. But now, if you hire me as your service, then I can become, I have like a back door to helping you get additional support. I have access to 24-hour support in the United States, which is a pretty great deal, I think. We are able to, help folks out by getting them support any time of the day that they need. So if you order my services, if you work through me, through my company, you have access to the Netgear Drive partner program, and that is something that they offer for companies to participate in. And it's in an effort that we would sell their products and all that good stuff too. So that's a part of it. Now, in conjunction with that, you may have noticed over on LinkedIn, I am officially a now certified switching for AV over IP member of the Netgear AV world as well. And so that's pretty neat. I'm officially certified. I actually have the certificate. Did all that this week. Did all the course and the study and the quiz. And so that is official. Now I am leveled on that as a switching over AV over IP certified technician. And lastly, I have acquired level 1 of the Netgear AV certified program through Netgear, through their academy. I have also submitted all of my project and everything for level 2. The only thing remaining is the quiz, which I'm planning on probably taking that today or tomorrow. But I have extensive notes. I have an iPad that I work off of that basically I've been studying since I've been feeling a lot better, basically taking all the courses and getting kind of certified. So I'm officially certified. No, but I am a level 1. I am also for the switching over AV over IP. That is also a separate certification. That's actually for the 4300 and 4500 series switches. There is a reason why the 4250s and the 4350s are the it's like a totally different course, and you can definitely see the difference if you go through both of the trainings. 4300s have large backbones, okay? So the 4300s can do like 10 gigs. You can buy switches that are all 10 gigs and that are all fiber or all QSFP, if you know what that is. That's anywhere from 40 to 100 gig throughput. And what's cool about QSFP is the connections can be they're usually 4-strand in a QSFP, 4-strand fiber, but you can dedicate just 2 strands, and those 2 strands can do 50, or a single strand which can do 100 on the single port. So you don't really need all 4 strands, but if you enable the 4 strands, then it's 25 gigs per strand combined into a single cable, which gives you your 100 gigs per port. So if you're really doing serious heavy AV over IP, which the only major real reason for this is probably going to be 2110, if you need that sort of backbone, which is, if we go back all the way to the original conversations about why 2110 over NDI, this is the major catalyst difference between the two. 2110 requires basically a 10 gigabit backbone, whereas NDI requires a 1 gigabit backbone. And so it's a really cool idea that you can get high quality video, 1080p or 4K signals over NDI for peanuts compared to what is required in the 2110. So we kind of still don't really have a real answer why Blackmagic went with 2110 instead of NDI, because it can deliver 4K, and then NDI is going into further infrastructures, and that might be like NDI. What are we up to, 6 now or 5 or whatever? So it might be the next level, but we're working through all of that to try and get trying to get people on board with. It doesn't have to cost you an arm. It's still expensive to get into the AV over IP world if you're just a church that has no budget. But compared to what corporations are doing in the broadcast world, going from 2110 to NDI workflows, and Dante, by the way, in that same workflow, is pennies on the dollar compared to. So that's doozy. Hey, talking and using your brain at the same time is a learned skill. Yeah, there's a lot of YouTube channels that could support that data. Shingles, that's awful. Agreed. Hey, John, we believe in you. I prefer D-series plugs over Keystone jacks for my panel mount connectors. So QSFP is just a quad for SFP in one. Correct. And you can configure them, evidently, in multiple ways. I actually had to brush up on QSFP because that's not something that's in my current workflow, but it is a part of the coursework for specifically the switching over AV over IP stuff, this course. They talk about their 4500 series, which is these massive $20,000, $30,000 switches but the backplane on them are absolutely ridiculous. And so it's been enlightening. It's been fun, and I'm glad that I have the certification. Now, what that means is if you hire Keystone AV, now my hourly rate is going to go and stay the same. I'm not going to charge more for these certifications. That is not how I roll. I'm adding these as value, and I'm adding the Netgear Drive program as value. So if you're in the United States and you need audio, you need Netgear gear, I can get that quoted out for you. I'm working currently, and sorry about that. I have a cough button. I didn't use it. I'm working currently with a distributor here in the United States to get set up. I officially got my state of Tennessee sales use tax certificate, so I'm going to get that over to them hopefully this week and get set up so that I can purchase through a distributor and deliver those products to you if you purchase my design. So really cool stuff. Looking forward to being able to provide high quality service Netgear stuff. I don't know what the prices are. I'm assuming it's just MSRP, but if I get better pricing on stuff, then I can always pass that along to customers as well. So big things happening with Keystone. Mostly that officially certified with them. My level 2 is already submitted. I'm already Dante level 2 certified, so level 3 is next. But I'm adding those certifications, and you can see those certificates over on my LinkedIn page. I have them under my licensing and certificate stuff. So there you go. I was going to put these on here, but I don't need to. So there you go. I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited that I have a Netgear this program. Now, yesterday apparently I had a meeting which I missed that I didn't notice that the Netgear crew had shown up to help me walk through this partnership program. And so it's very new. It's very brand new, and I still need to meet with them to get on the same page. But I am a one-man band right now, so that means that I've got to be certified to do all the things, but I've also got to be the business end of things, and I've got to be the integrator for the program and sales and all that stuff. So it's going and growing quickly, but I want to be sure that I have top value for customers. And the first and foremost is the networking side of things, which is what I focus on. If I can get in with Broadfield as my distributor, then that means I have their portfolio to sell, which means that I would also have Elgato products, or I would have NDI products, Bird Dog, and a few other things that I would be able to actually buy and sell as well. And that would be a great value to my networking company as well. So more on that as time goes along, but officially I am a Netgear Drive partner with them. So rejoice with me. That's all I have to say about that. All right. Let's go over and see what is happening here in the chat. Okay, I'm caught up in the chat. That's great. What have I been up to this past week? Well, when I sat back and started thinking about what it is that I had actually accomplished, yesterday was an insanely busy day, but I got so much stuff done that I'm pretty excited about some of the changes. I'm going to throw this out there. I am not a web developer, okay? Not a web developer. That's not what I do. It's not something that I'm particularly interested in doing. I know talented people who are talented web designers already, and I don't need to reinvent that wheel. I can hire them for those services. So the church that I work for, though, does not have necessarily the opportunity to hire a web developer in this moment. And so I jumped into our website and started updating things. One of the things that we figured out how to do was to create a Google map that has it shows where our audience is. And if you sign up for our newsletter over at the Safe Harbor website, then it goes into our database, you get our weekly newsletter, and your hometown gets put on the map. Now, we don't do addresses, we just do general hometown. So if, in my instance, I live in the town of Bonacqua, and so my home address isn't listed on the website, but the hometown is. And so if I go over, I can share this information here, oursafeharbor.com, which is our website. And let me pop this over onto the screen so you can follow along. So here is our website, and if you go to About and say Get Connected, this is where that map is. And I'm logged in as an admin right now. I should probably log out so you don't see all that extra stuff. But here is our, whoops, so connect. And here is that map. Now, the majority of our viewers are in the United States. There are a handful around other parts of the country. These are people who have actively and are receiving our newsletter every week, and that's kind of how we gauge who is actively kind of keeping tabs on what it is that we're doing. Not necessarily weekly viewers, but this is a way to illustrate. Well, this is super easy to implement in your own on your own website. You just you can go to our website and then click on Create Your Own, log into your Google account, your Gmail account, and then you can start putting in the required data. All we did was point it to a Google Sheet. We exported the cities and the state and the country, exported those 3 columns out of our database for everyone that receives our newsletter, and imported it into a Google Sheet. Now, I don't know how to keep it live, but because it is a manual process right now, but I'm sure like Zapier or something has an option for that. But basically, anytime somebody gets added to that list, it would get populated on here. But you can zoom out. This is an active map, and then you can see the other people around the world that have checked in. Somebody way up here past Anchorage in Anchor Point, Alaska. Somebody over here in New South Wales. In India, it's over in, I can't say that hometown, but over in India. Somebody in Germany, and somebody here in Rome, Italy. So that's pretty neat. How neat is that? But if our homepage, like if you just refresh this and scroll down, it shows where the majority of our members are, which is here in the United States. So this was so easy to implement, and it's something that I'm going to update every 3 months, and then that won't be super burdensome on my regular schedule. But I really love the fact that this map looks great. You can set the default, so if you really only have... This is something I wish I had when I was over at Bird Dog, because if this is something that you had wanted to implement on your website, you can, inside the settings for the map, you can zoom in so it shows exactly as you want, and then you click on the 3 dots and say, make this the initial load page. So that's what I did here. It shows basically North and South America, North and Central America, and that's, again, where the majority of our people are. So that's pretty neat. I should get my sound effects fired up here. Jeremy, what's going on? Hey, that is pretty neat. All the Netgear stuff. Yes, agreed. Netgear, those partnerships are pretty exciting. Oh, clearly the Pope is watching. I doubt that highly. Somebody in Rome is watching, but it doesn't say the Vatican. It just says Rome. So there you go. Today's non-sponsor is brought to you by Tim Hortons cold coffee. Not in an Ember mug. If I had thought this one through and wasn't in a giant rush, I would have put it in an Ember mug, which is our other non-sponsor for the day. Keep your coffee hot and your creamer curdled. So yes, Netgear, those announcements, I think that's pretty exciting. I was doing things on our website, updating forms. One of the cool things that I learned about, for anybody that's watching that uses Tithely, which is the backbone of our CRM, Tithely allows you to create forms and then embed them on your website so you can gather active data, and it keeps things up to date, and then it just gets imported into an approval process, and our administrators handle that. So if we won't get spammed, it won't overload our CRM. We'll only be importing things manually. But the forms are really easy to create and implement. So this is one of the forms. We have something called the Welcome Home Tour, which is essentially our minister driving around and meeting people. And if people are interested in something like that, they can fill out this information, and he will he'll make a plan to go visit. So that's kind of a neat idea. Well, that form dumps directly into our CRM, and we're able. Oh, and when somebody fills out the form, the administrator gets a notification saying, "Hey, the form has been filled out," and then he can go in and either follow up or add them to the database or whatever. So that is also pretty neat. All right, I've said that a bunch of times now, so I better fire this up and get it ready to go. So is this working? Try that again. No. That's because this is down.
That's pretty neat.
Hey, that is pretty neat. All right, so that is good to go. I just heard that out of my headphones here, which are sitting on the desk and I'm not using. Probably should to monitor the content of the show. All right, so that's fired up. So yeah, our website is up and running. Ooh, there's like a hiss. That's crazy. How loud was that sound effect? Too loud, everybody? Let me pull it back a little bit.
How neat is that?
That is pretty neat. All right. So, I've been editing our website, and that's been an education this week for sure, alongside taking the courses for the Netgear stuff and getting all those certifications done, keeping all that up to date. So I hope, people will see that as a positive for what it is that I can offer with Keystone. Oh, by the way, I am streaming over on the YouTube Keystone AV Networks site as well. Just not sure. I can't bring in 2 social media streams onto socials. And so that chat, unfortunately, maybe I should watch that chat and run socials on this side. Maybe that would make more sense, right? Let me go. No, not this. Not this, not this. Okay. So let me open that YouTube channel. Let me jump over, switch accounts. There it is. Hey, I'm up to 4 subscribers over on that channel. That's pretty
neat.
That is pretty neat. So if I say go live, there's one concurrent. Oh, okay, Randy's over here. Hey, Randy, how's it going? Hey, yeah, get ready to rock and roll. Congrats on the partnership. That's awesome. Audio seems a bit quieter than usual with more background hiss. I'm the beta tester over here, is what he says. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for jumping on to the Keystone AV Network YouTube page. I don't know. I want to bring this chat into socials as well, but I don't think that I can. So I don't get too excited. They're all me. Hey, yeah, well, that's all good. It is all you right now, but that's day one. So yeah, we can stream it over on. This stream should not say first live stream on YouTube. This should say big announcements about Keystone. There we go. We'll save that. Boink. And that's good. And now I can see the chat on both sides. So I will make this double screen so that I can monitor both. 1 and 2. Okay. And now I can see both. I just can't bring your chat into vMix like I can with these guys. Yeah, I do hear a little hiss. All right, let's find out then what that could be. Let me see if I'm bringing in. I hear it as well. Boom. How about that? Any better? What was this? Oh, it's the audio source. Yeah, there was a hiss. Good call, everybody. Good call. See, where would I be without you? Good times, good times. It should be fixed now.
Good news, everyone!
Okay, so what's next? I kind of ran through that announcement, 38 minutes into it. All good. We talked about the garage. We talked about the Keystone announcements. I wish I could figure out how to concisely say, so I can chop those up and put them on as shorts. But yeah, the hiss is gone. Yay! But I'm long-winded, that's for sure. So what else have I been up to? So we were working on website stuff. I did 3 weeks worth of social media posts for the church that I work for. So those are kind of out of the way for Thanksgiving week. Oh yeah, because next week, here we go. Next week is Thanksgiving here in the United States, and Thursday in particular. So I'm going to live stream on Wednesday. And I know that's Tom's day. I will not stream during Tom's slot. I'll stream during the regular time. But next week, during Wednesday, I'm going to stream, and there is more stuff that we want to talk about. I want to talk about streaming theory next week, and one of those things being the title of that is pre-recorded live streams and live streams are not the same thing. Initially, the title was pre-recorded live streams suck, but I thought maybe that was a little on the nose, and so I just softened it a little bit by saying pre-recorded live streams and live streams are not the same thing. And I want to talk, I don't want to do that right now because I want to kind of percolate on it to put a coffee reference in there. I want me to think more about it. I want you to think about it. So I'm going to tell you what it is that we're talking about next week, and then you can come locked and loaded. But next week on Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern time. Now, my wife and kids will be home next week, but on Thursday, I am actually I'll say I cook 50% of the time in the house, and the big meals are me. So I do the big meals in this house, which means Thanksgiving, Thursday, I'm going to be doing it all. Which reminds me, I guess I got to start brining a turkey on Monday. Anyway, yeah, that's all coming up. And we're just doing a small thing here at the house next week because we might try and take the kids and do some stuff while they're home for break. So not money-related things, because there's none of that, because I just finished paying off that enormous garage, and now I've got to pay a small mortgage for that. But yes, I will be busy next Thursday. So I don't want to not stream because I love you guys. So we're going to try and do it on Wednesday if you can make it. I'd love to see you on Wednesday morning at 10 Central Time. Yay, you unbroke it. Yeah, we call that simulated live. Simulive. Yes, you guys are jockeying for best phrase. Back in the day, we used to call it live to tape. See, the thing about the conversations, I don't want to talk about it yet. All right, but we will. Next week, we're definitely going to talk about it because I have some opinions, as you can imagine. And we, the church that I work for, we are guilty of this as well, and I'm working on correcting that because I definitely think that you really need, well, anyway, again, I don't want to get into it. Let's just leave it at that. We're working on correcting that, and I'll talk about how we're going to try and do that. So there you go. There you go. That's a little teaser for next week. So good times. Good times. Hey, Jeremy, are you around? I used my primary camera, Cam 1. I uploaded the week of the 9th. I uploaded Cam 1 back to Resi manually because I didn't get in time to do the SDI stuff. But I manually uploaded it to Resi, and then I used the AI function to chop it up. And it worked pretty well. I was able to create 5 video shorts pretty quickly. What I would love, if you're taking any sort of suggestions, 2 major things that I would love to see implemented. The first is the option to do to select multiple clips and then to edit them. And because what happens is you log into Resi, you click on the thing, you say create a clip, and then it loads it. You say view suggested. You select the suggested clip that you want. But then when you click next, it takes you away from the selecting clip option. And what I would really like to do is to be able to select multiple clips and then say edit all of these, and then go through and edit all 5, and then say, okay, go ahead and generate the clip, and then it just does them all bulk. Because my second suggestion is, because I can't post them to social media the way that I can on a social media scheduler, I can't do it quite the same way because the only things that are offered are YouTube and Facebook. And those are the very baseline social medias. We use Twitter, X, we use Rumble, Vimeo, we use Instagram, and we're looking at other platforms as well. So all of those have to be enabled in order for the scheduler to really make sense. So I think there is some value in the actual AI editing tool. I like that you can adjust when it starts and stops. I found that actually to be quite intuitive, and the user interface is good. I just need to be able to do multiples at once. I need to be able to say, these are the clips that I want to use, and I want to check multiple clips, and then when I click next, it takes me in, I can do all of them at once, and then it will export each of them individually, because my process now is I download them all. Oh, and you need to be able to download multiple files at once. That also needs to happen. Download them, and then I load them into my social media scheduler, and I schedule them out for the whole week. And that way I'm not doing onesie-twosies a day. I'm doing it once a week, and I'm scheduling it out. Well, I operate 2 to 3 weeks out in advance. And that is my current situation is I'm 3 weeks out. So when we record on Sunday, I'll download that content and cut them up and schedule them on Monday for 3 weeks in advance. So I did this week, next week, and the next week. This next Sunday will be for the following week, which is well into December. And I need to be able to map that out a little bit better. So the 3 major things, I'll recap again. That Resi, I really like this tool. I think it's valuable. What will make it worth the monthly subscription? I think it's $50 a month, which is a little steep. But I think what will really make it worth it is to be able to select multiple clips, edit multiple clips at once, mass download multiple clips, and to be integrated already properly with the majority of social media platforms. Twitter is the big one that we use, and Instagram is a big one that we use. So those ones, first and foremost for me, need to be done in order for me to feel like I can do all of this inside Resi. We are seriously looking at a scheduler, and actually we were talking about this today, me and my coworker Dave, looking at purchasing a scheduler, which is, by the way, $10 a channel a month, and we have 5 channels. So $50, which I think is the same price as Resi, as the Resi AI thing. So we're not too shy from purchasing subscription services. We just, need them to be big value. And for $10 or $8 a month, which is what our scheduler is, that simplifies it for multiple users across our platform. So I'm not the only person posting things to social media. Dave is also, we have somebody that does visuals, so just photos or words with backgrounds and stuff. She's a good graphics designer and does a great job. We also have people that contribute through the week to our channel. And so multiple users, multiple channels, all of that, we need that to be readily available. Well, I've been using buffer.com, which is the free version of buffer.com, which gives me 3 channels. So we use Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram for that. And then I manually load to X. Well, if I'm going to buy a scheduler, then I'm going to have 5 channels, or maybe just 4 at this moment. And that will then give me the option to schedule on X as well from one single platform, which is going to be pretty important for us. So that is that's kind of the overall. Like if I'm looking at purchasing something, I think the main bulk of things is the AI, the ability for AI to scan the sermon and then to cut it up into appropriate places, and then give me keyword titles and all of that. That's value. That's something that's worth a little bit of money. So yeah, keep going. Resi, you're moving in the right direction. I definitely think for your first announcement and stab at this, way to go. We just, let's hone these tools so that they're really useful. Mostly the time saver piece, multiple clips at once, multiple downloads at once. That's what I want. And just download them into like a zip file, put them all in the same zip file and deliver one file. That's what Canva does. If you have multiple pages that are like videos or even pictures, if you click download all as separate files, it will download a zip file for you and then have them all inside there. So that's how that works. That's pretty simple. All right, so that's fun. I don't even know if Jeremy's still around, but he hopefully he will hear some of that. What else? I'm really anxious. I took the level 2 certification this week for Netgear. I had level 1 kind of done. So I took the level 2 and I had to do the quiz and get the actual certificate. So I did that. And it's good. It's a good challenge. The Netgear, there's a new course, levels 1, 2, and 3. 3 hasn't been launched yet, but levels 1 and 2 are done by a guy named Gus, and he does a fantastic job at walking you through the information. I do find that he covers things a little bit quick because the quizzes that are at the end of the course, at the end of each of the modules, cover some pretty interesting things that he say, like specific things. So take good notes so you can reference those during the quizzes. But, the final quiz is like 40 questions, and you really need to have watched all of them. The AV over IP certification, which is the other one that I got this week, is more specific to the 4300 and the 4500 setup, which means that you need to understand that interface, not the Engage interface. So I'm pretty sure the 43 and 4500s work with Engage, but they talk about manually setting things up. And in particular, they talk about manually setting up Dante inside of the 4300, like how to do it, which is really useful information because you see the back end of how it's done, and then you realize how easy it is now with the Engage controller. So I don't think I'll ever recommend a 43 or 4500 unless we need that as a backbone switch. I would never recommend that as a switch going forward in the AV over IP network world. Again, unless you need those levels of speeds, which are not really my wheelhouse. I'm not really a 2110 type of guy. There are some other video protocols out there, by the way, that also require that level of bandwidth, but it's kind of a no-brainer as far as I'm like proof of concept. Those I will always be showing Dante and NDI. I mean, that's if you want to do video over. If you want to do video over network, that is really the way to go, which is where this certification comes in, the level 1 and the level 2. And I'm waiting for that to happen. Boo, single pane of glass, please. Boo, single pane of glass. Meaning a single control. By the way, man, I had this. I was like it was really cool. I learned some stuff about the Engage controller while I was going through the certification program. But another thing is I highly, if you want to get certified, I highly recommend that you go through the level 1 training with Netgear Academy. Should take you a couple of days, like casually watching it, a few hours, dedicated hours. But then if you go then and do the switching over AV over IP certification like I did, you really see the contrast between why they went with the Engage controller. And then it drives home the necessity for single pane glass concepts like Engage for companies to adopt that level of integration. So here's a good example of a company that I think could really benefit from something like this. To generate a single piece of software that controls all of your features and all of your functions on all of your products, a company like BirdDog could really benefit from something like this, like BirdDog Control Panel. That's what it could be. And excuse me, a little residual. The BirdDog Control Panel. It used to be like Central Control or something like that, but like a BirdDog Control Panel that just allows you to have all BirdDog features and functions integrated into a master control software. And then everything from control, customization, to changing settings, all the way down to firmware updates and master clock, everything being available in one piece of software that can run, but then when you turn it off, everything functions as it does. Kind of like Dante controller, right? If you plug in an an AVIO device built by Turtle, built by Dante, built by whoever, if you plug it in, controller sees it and allows you to run updates on hundreds of brands of products. Dante controller, that is a huge piece. And if somebody really wanted to create a product, okay, throwing this out there, somebody wanted to create a product that is NDI certified, but could read multiple products across multiple platforms and unify NDI in the way that Dante is unified, maybe NDI needs to come out with it, right? Because there is an NDI certification program now, but that you could enable all firmware updates, you could do network addressing, you could do all of that stuff inside of this single control panel. That is, I think, what will help all of these competing voices in the NDI world. Long ago, you may remember this from a previous show, I said that when VizRT bought out NDI and turned it onto a VizRT umbrella and NewTek went away, I said no one is controlling the narrative of the NDI story anymore, and BirdDog needs to be the one to control it. We reiterated that in a visit. Actually, one of the sales guys reiterated that in a visit to Melbourne when we were there in August of 2022. And again, it was said we need to control the narrative about how people come to NDI. They need to think BirdDog is the solution because all of their stuff and everyone else's stuff works with their gear. That was a big, tall order to ask, and there were other fires needing to be addressed at the time, so we didn't really do anything with it. Well, NDI, I think, the company, NDI, needs to answer that call. Needs to say, inside the NDI certification process, you need to provide us with the API that we will integrate into a single pane of NDI control panel glass that allows anyone to open NDI controller, like Dante controller, NDI controller, and you can do all the major functions of each of the NDI products inside there. That's what needs to happen to really legitimize NDI as the video standard. Because why then would Blackmagic pick 2110 over NDI? Like, it doesn't make any sense other than, well, both processes are kind of complex. And so if we're going to take a complex process and do uncompressed video on network, we're going to pick 2110. I understand why corporate might go that way. But if you were smart and you looked at the two infrastructures, well, it's highly adaptable to go NDI, and you pick up all of these users that are kind of on the bottom side of the networking world, but it scales up. Whereas 2110, you need to be on the top tier of the mid row or the high end of the network in order to adopt 2110. So you lost Blackmagic. You lost a whole bunch of customers by picking 2110 and not going with NDI. And maybe they thought NDI was a fad, but it is definitely a presence. It is a driving force behind Netgear's profiles. So much so, way more so, by the way, than 2110 is or any of their other video protocols. If you do the, by the way, if you do the video switching certification, they drive home some of these video protocols that maybe you've never heard of. And NDI is not really a part of that conversation. What's amazing now is the current coursework is pretty much all NDI and all Dante. That's what this is. And so their newest coursework is focused on delivery of NDI. Hey, it would be nice if Netgear would add DHCP reservation management into the AV UI. They have. They have. You want to see it? I'll show you where it is. We'll just load up my controller, and then I can share this. Let me show you how to do it. That's why you came here for, right? You came here for this information. So we can go into let's put this here. Here is Engage, and this is, I've got one switch, compliments of John Hinkle over at Netgear, who sent me a demo unit and said, keep it until I need it. And so I have graciously integrated it into my system. So if we open, this is my core switch. And if we just briefly look at the topology here, you notice that there's a blue dot next to this. This indicates that it is my core switch on my AV over IP network. Okay. And then when I click configure, it's going to take me into the interface that is the network. Now, this is set up kind of wonky donkey in terms of how I've just onesie-twosied this. This is not how I would recommend designing your network if you were to do this network stuff. But here is that switch, all right? Well, under site settings, you now go to VLAN routing and DHCP service. And under advanced, we can say DHCP address reservations. And we select the VLAN ID that we want. And so I've got an NDI network and a Dante network. So VLAN 10. And you'll notice here that I have some devices on this reservation list. And the way that I do that is I say add. It finds the devices on my network that are already a part of the table. And I can say, okay, all of these, and I can click add. It asks me for some host names. They're kind of particular with their host names, so you have to put hyphens in and stuff like that. But let's go back and just say the Netgear one. Add. And I'm going to say confirm. And when I click confirm, it adds it to my list at that address. In those options as well, by the way, we can click on DHCP bindings. And these are... Uh-oh. Did that actually mute? Yes, that muted. Okay. Sorry, everybody. So inside here, we can look at our DHCP bindings, and we can clear the lease list. But with the actual reservation, you can say add, and we can also change. We can change the address to be something else. Okay, so that's the address that it was given, and I probably did that inside. But you can actually add. Engage is designed to be the overview of your entire network, right? So you indicate which one on topology. You indicate your core switch. Click this, change it to core switch. Whoops. Are you sure you want to make this core switch? Yes. Change it to core switch. Go to site settings, and then go to VLAN routing and DHCP service advanced DHCP reservation list. And this is where you add those to those VLANs that you have. That's how it's done. So stinking cool, right? I love it. It's all centralized, and this is the way that you do that. This is the way that it should be done for integration, but that's the way. Okay, so something like Fleet Manager. Sorry, let me go back here. So something like Fleet Manager. Haven't heard about any updates for that in a long time. Yeah, I know. I keep a list of my reservations as a script, and I paste them in the terminal of the switch. Have you heard of the new cloud edition of Dante Controller? You enroll your devices using normal software, and then you use Dante Controller from anywhere and still manage your Dante devices. Yes, that's actually a part of, I believe, the Dante Level 3 certification. So I've heard of it, but I haven't been able to play with it so much. It's called Dante Director. Yes, thank you. That's what it's called. I'm pretty excited to dive into that because I love Dante. I think it's the equivalent. I think NDI is the equivalent of the Dante stuff. Dante is just a little further on down the road. I understand why companies don't like paying royalties to other competitor companies. I think that they would like to pay royalties to competitor companies if the competitor companies offered more value than just a license, right? Hey, whoa, really? Always. Fantastic. And yes, it did mute when I coughed. Excellent. Yes, so DHCP reservation is now available inside Dante or inside Engage Controller, and it is the way, the truth, and the light when it comes to setting up your reservation lists. And it's broken up by VLAN. So as you click through your VLANs, if Engage is your primary controller, and a good example of this, by the way, is over at the soundstage. We have a router. We have a 460X router, which is a a Netgear Engage enabled router, and then we have switches underneath that. We have a big 24 port switch that handles all of our Dante stuff, and then we have a smaller switch that handles some of the NDI things. And we've broken it up into VLANs just like that. We've assigned IP addresses via the reservation list. It is the way to do it. So love it. I love that they integrated this. I knew that Levent was working on, or Levent? Oh, shoot. I always get his name wrong. He was working on this when I left Bird Dog. And so it has been almost 2 years or a year and a half. So it's done now. Inner VLAN routing is also something where if you need to pass data from a VLAN to another, you can do that through inner VLAN routing rules, by the way. And that can also be done here on this stream. Yeah. Anyway, cool times, great oldies. Really love that option. I'm glad that I could share that with you.
That's pretty neat.
All right. What else? Do we need to cover anything else that that I didn't get to today? Randy says, yes, the hiss is gone. I remember that your previous talk about live stream theory, and it was awesome. I implemented a cool change at our church based on your theory. Wow. Thank you. That's high praise. You don't know until you say something. I would never have known that. But cool stuff. Thanks for saying something. I guess it's time to update some switches. Let's go. Another thing about Engage is that functionality right there is the ability to see your device list and update everything right here centralized. I mean, I'm an advocate. I'm all things aside, I am a partner with Netgear now, but I'm an advocate of this because I think it makes it's the fastest way to get you implemented, and it's easy to troubleshoot. There are so many diagnostic tools inside of each of these switches, inside of Engage, that allow you to check the network and make sure things are plugged in correctly. Matter of fact, I need to do a diagnostic on a product at the soundstage, although I don't think I well, maybe I did. Yeah. Let's see. Actually, I think I put it back because I was going to troubleshoot it. So let me log into that machine real quick, and I'll pull up Engage and run a test on that port that's misbehaving, because I think it's my cable. I think I crimped the cable wrong. So let me see let's see what we can find out. That's really what we're up to. I just want to see what is going on here. Okay, so I'm going to load Engage. And here is our software. We're going to sign in as needed. Okay. And everybody close your eyes. Okay. Yoink. So we've got 3 switches, 3 devices. We have a router, which actually should be first. By the way, did you know that you can rearrange your devices just by dragging and dropping them on this list? So that one's first, our Dante switch is second, and then the production booth switch should be third. Now, on the topology side of things, my core switch is actually my Dante switch. Okay, it's managing a bunch of things, but the Netgear router, and the reason I have this Dante switch at the core, as the core, and not my router, and maybe I'm wrong in my theory here, but I want the PTP clocks and everything to function on a switch, not on the router, which I don't think it actually has those capabilities. So the IGMP querier and the PTP clock all need to be functioning on a switch. And so the Dante switch is the highest in the organization next to the router. The router is the thing that's at the very top of the chain. This goes off to the internet, but the router itself is not necessarily my core device. So the issue I'm having is this actual Dante switch. There's a cable plugged into it here on this side that is powering the device, but I think it's port 20, actually. I think it's this guy. Yep, Audinate. So it is a Audinate device. Let's find out. It is the producer's belt pack that was giving me issues. And I want to see what IP address that has. So maybe Dante controller and belt pack producer, device info, belt pack producer, status is 100, and its IP address is 20.242. 20.242. Now, I'm not getting an error today. So 20.242. Let's go ahead and minimize this and just see which one of these is connected to 20. Right there. 20.242. So this is port 10. So now I'm going to show you in diagnostics. We can do a cable test on port 10. Test selected ports. Test results normal. Is that it? And then what else can I do here? 192.168. Whoops. 168. 10.242. And we're going to ping this, run tests. Producer belt pack. Was it that? Oh, 20. Shoot. Right. VLAN 20. Sorry. Run tests. Okay. So everything came back normal. So I probably have a faulty cable, more than likely. It reports that it's normal. But what if I select all of these? Just do all of my Dante network stuff, not 2426. Test. Let's see what we get back. All right. Fault. Short. That's interesting. Fault distance 4, 1, 18. What does this mean? Fascinating. So then fault distance 18 and 13. This must be interesting. I'm going to have to look this up. That's not what I expected to see. As obviously I wasn't planning on there being a bunch of faults, but maybe something is wrong with the way that we've crimped those cables. I've been enjoying the Unify updates on NDI and Dante on their Pro Series now. It's been a game changer for us lately. That's awesome. I'm so glad that Netgear is not the only fish in the pond, mostly because competition makes us better. Doesn't drive us out of business. It just makes us better. So, I mean, it can drive us out of business if we refuse to get better. But generally, it should make your sword sharper, not duller. So that's hopeful. I'm glad Unify's in the game. They're integrators that are online, like Churchfront and a bunch of those guys. They're heavy into Unify, which is cool. I need to look at their enterprise level specs. I'm assuming they're hardware driven. I still have a bad residual taste from them burning up on me in the past, and so I've used them before. They're fine. For data transfer, they're fine. I have no issue there. It's mostly the the issues that I've had with NDI. You know, the full constant stream of data. We don't have any real drop packets or anything. Oh, and something else that I forgot to mention. I didn't forget to mention, but I haven't probably talked to you about this yet. So when you take the Dante certification, they show you how to, like Dante is one of those things that if you plug it into a Dante profile, it does just show up in controller. Like it does. Genuinely, I feel like I could safely say it should just work. And I say this with an experience of using Studio Technology belt packs. They're not Dante, they're not made by Audinate, but they have an Audinate chip in them. And when I plugged them in, they did just show up in controller, which I really like. I appreciate that greatly, that they can just pop up into controller. Well, one of the things that obviously you need to probably start doing is setting these up as multicast, especially as you start to expand out. You want to set up your streams as multicast and not available channels, and not just straight one-to-one, right? Because what happens then is if you look at the bottom of your bandwidth usage, it's like over 100 if everybody's just one-to-one. And now I'm getting an error here on something. Oh, that's strange. Update. Did I click on something that I didn't mean to do? Producer. Oh, you know what I did? I ran that cable test and now it's jacked up. So how do you fix it? Easy. You go over to configure. You say power over Ethernet. We say PoE configuration. Matter of fact, we just say PoE reset. You must select at least one interface. So let's reset our Dante devices. PoE reset. Yes, reboot these devices. Now what's cool is we can go in here and watch them actually reset. See the director's offline? I think that was part of it. Cancel. Ooh, what's venue view? Okay, the director is back. That's good news. Now let's go over to the controller and make sure that director's coming online. This program, this is an AVIO program device. That's in channel 7. Let's close all these and wait, where is the wait, this thing's like wigging out. All right. Engage. This is interesting. Very interesting. Why is this grayed out? Netgear. Oh, okay. It's the router. All right, so if I go back, oh look, the director's gone again. If I go back to controller, producer, transmit, latency. So one of the things that you probably want to do is you want to configure your devices to run in multicast. And you do that by creating multicast flows. All right. So over in my radius, I have created multicast flows so that, and you can see here, some of these are direct unicast and some of them are not. But I've created flows so that they travel out via multicast, and then only the things that are subscribed to it pull that data. Whereas if you do unicast, that number, that data flow number kind of skyrockets. So what is going on with the stinking directors pack here? First of all, it's not showing up in the list. So that's a problem. The director, do we know what IP address it was? And probably not, right? So this device is offline. All right. So let's go to engage. And what we can do is actually reset one by one so that they come back. It does seem to me, reset, reset. There's 4 of them. Let's just go manually down the line here and reset each of these, let them come back on their own. I'm certainly not using any of the power, that's required. Okay, so each of those are being reset. The director's back. That's interesting. So all right, so here are the units. The AVIO program is self-assigning. There it goes. It's got its own address. The director has fallen off the line again. Primary clock should be this guy, Edge. And let me just, I've been neglecting the chat here. I'm really sorry. I will pull you guys up and put you over here instead. Okay. All right, so I had a Unify PoE switch go up in smoke once. It was very unpleasant. What matrices are you connecting your belt packs to? I.e., what are you doing? What's doing the mix minus? Party line logic. There's no need to run multicast for each belt pack channel since each one is coming from its own dedicated. Yeah, well, I'll get into that in a second. Multicast is for multiple receivers getting the exact same workflow. So what's getting the workflow is the, I'm using a radius 12 by 8, which enables us to, that does my party line mix minus in multiple Dante outputs. So if we go back here, I can mix this basically any way that I want, but this radius is putting out, is doing that multicast flow right here. And so I've got 2 multicast flows, which are then going back to all the headsets and into our program and doing a bunch of things. So I can show more of that if people are interested in the Radius product. But we found that product for under $1,000 on Amazon, or I'm sorry, on eBay or Facebook Marketplace or something like that. And it has been awesome. It has worked really well. So been really happy with that. Let's go ahead and cycle here. The director's pack. I wonder if the director and the program are 216. I wonder if they're having an IP conflict. Let's go ahead and do site settings, VLAN routing, advanced setting, reservation. Do we have one in here? Production booth. Yeah. Oh, wait. This is VLAN 1. I want to do VLAN 20. Okay, so there's nothing in here. So I wonder if I should add things, right, to like keep things separate. Fail to configure. Why? All but. All right, add. Fail to configure addresses. Wonder why that is. Do I have? Oh. I wonder if it's the name. I suspect that it's the name. Okay, so let's find out some information here. This guy is not responding. But this guy is giving me some information. So let's just look at the status. Okay. So 20.17, that is the soundboard return feed. So if I go over to engage and I say this guy, maybe I should clear the leases and see what happens. All right, if I go here and I say, oh, look at that. It updated the names. And I say add. And then I say AVIO soundboard feed. Confirm. Boom, success. All right, cool. So we should probably do this then. Yeah, we should probably do this so that the devices know. All right, we're getting something from this guy now, but not much. Okay, belt pack. The producer's belt pack is 242. I don't like that number. I feel like that's random. I don't want it to be 242. So let's do Pro Presenter 19. All right, well, let's do that one. Add. This is Pro Presenter headphone. So I'm going to say belt pack, Pro Presenter 1. Confirm. Okay. So next we're going to go back to controller. And we're going to pull up the information. Pro Presenter 2 is 18. Okay. So we're going to say add. Look for 18. And we're going to add. Call it belt pack. Whoops. Pro Presenter 7. Oh, I'm sorry. I said Pro Presenter 1, right? Pro Presenter 2. Confirm. Cool. All right. Next. Radius. This is the brain, and that's 20.10. So that's, oh. That must be the computer. Okay, so add. Radius DSP, digital signal processor. Check. But if each belt pack is getting its own unique audio stream, multicast isn't saving any bandwidth or adding anything but complexity. So when I changed it to multicast, no, each headset is getting a generic party line. It's getting party line A, unless I specify differently. So it's getting all the signals from the microphones are going into Dante and going to the radius, and then the radius is spitting out party line A with ducking on the program. So the program plays in our headsets, and then when I talk, it ducks the program down, and they can hear me, and then it comes back. That's what we're doing for most of our intercoms, is running it that way. Okay, who else we got here? Radius, belt pack, producer. So the producer should be not 242, but should be like 20. Now, is 20 already taken? No. So instead of 242, add 2020. Yum. And this should be belt pack producer. It's the producer's belt, video producer's belt pack. Confirm. Okay. And then finally, the return. Oh, 17, we already did that. Return feed 1, 2, 3, 4 other signals, right? And I've got return feed 1, and 4 others. Okay, so let's go ahead and search now and see what else comes up. Nothing yet, so we should see a couple of more devices here populate in this list. There's the program device, which is sound leaving our... Oh, shoot. That's sound leaving our soundboard and going into the Dante system. So now let's go ahead and restart the PoE on this switch so that everything gets its... everything's going to get its new info. So we go here, we say PoE. We select each of our channels that are running PoE. I'm just going to reset. This is just a data line, right? 0 watts, yeah. And then this one's 0 watts as well. Nothing else. Reset PoE. Yoink. Okay, so now we go back here. We say search. I wonder, is there a way to edit this field so that it shows, I think, here come our devices. Good, 2020 is now the producer. Oh, look. Program. I just want to, oh. It's getting a self-assigned address. That's strange. Director's still not coming back. Here, I just want to see information on it. Device is currently offline. Boy, that's frustrating. All right, why is the AVIO unit not pulling an IP address? Let's check out our neighboring situation here. Get out of here, Windows. All right, so if we say neighbor, these two devices are still listed. Oh, and this one too. This is pulling local address. Oh, man. Okay, I need to figure out which port those guys are plugged. Oh, well, I guess I know. 14, 16, and 18, right? Oh, and 20. 14, 16, 18, and 20. 14 in particular. So device, configure Dante switch, PoE, 14, reset, yes. Okay, that looked like it was the director because it's gone. And the program audio is now 2080. It should be 2021. Just to keep things tidy. So, site settings, VLAN routing, advanced, DHCP, add. Um, 2080, this guy right here. Add. This guy should say 2021. And this is AVIO program. Confirm. Success. Okay, so back to our switch now. And into here. Program return is now listed correctly. So the only one that's not in here is the director. If I open this and say, oops. What's going on here? Why did I lose the program? Is it because it's changing IP addresses? It must be. Program. Try again. Okay, it's coming back. Yep. 20.80. All right, well, I'll hold there. So then the other problem that I'm having is the director's not showing up. So this is the issue I was having with the producer last week, was that the producer wasn't showing up online, but the director was. So it's almost as if like two of them exist at the same time, but don't. This guy is a 169 address. So let's go out on a limb and say that that's probably him. Power over Ethernet. 169. Reset port 4. And then this guy is 20.80. So let's go ahead and reset that one as well. Because, oh, that's strange. Number 10 has a 1.6. What on earth, man? Many of these are wrong. All right. The director is in port 4 because it's showing up here. Is there a place in here where I can reboot this guy? Signal. What does this do? Reload the device information. Device. Clear domain credentials. Device is not enrolled. Whoa. Receive errors are getting driven up here. So device config. Reboot device. Yes. Okay, so the director's still offline. If I refresh, the director's still on the list. This radius should be the clock leader, by the way. So hopefully it is. Network config. Status, running a gig. I thought that it would show clock leader here. Does it not? I thought it had it here somewhere. Routing, clock status. There it is, leader. Program, sync. It's not synced. Boy, this is fun. That's frustrating. The joys of off-site troubleshooting. Yeah, you're not kidding. It's all right though. Like this isn't clocking unicast delay requests, and if I set it to enable, it just switches to disabled. Okay. Latency 1, that's fine. Control, oh, that's fun. I didn't know you could set that there. All right. So yeah, this device seems to be oh, now it's in sync? Oh, oh no. No, it keeps falling out of sync. So channel, receive channel. Status. Just watch this for a second. Oh man. Yeah, it doesn't like that. Okay. So I think we're just having a sync issue, honestly. And then the director pack is not here. So as I recall, I gotta refresh this somehow. There we go. Power of Ethernet, channel 4. It's getting its own. I feel like I should restart this switch. So I've made a lot of changes on here. And these IP addresses are not. They're not updating. They should say one. Yeah. Ports. Oh, look. Port 10 and port 16 are the same. Oh, no, they're not. They got different subnets. Fascinating. So 10, 14, 18, 20. 10, 14, 18, and 20. All right, let's see what comes back online here. Is it time to reboot the entire switch? It's very possible. It's tricky when you're trying to do multiple updates and stuff, right? So, device information. AVIO programming. I just need this to get assigned an address, which I thought I did inside of site settings, right? VLAN routing, VLAN 20, binding IP addresses. Yeah, program should get 20.21. So the fact that, 20.21. All right, so DHCP reservation's working. Good. So if I go to engage and I say add, this has got to be the director. So if I say add belt pack director, what's the lower number? I want to do 16 here. Confirm. Success. Added. Who else we got on here? This is the computer. So let's set add. This will be 100. All right. Yeah, so interesting issue we're running into here. So I wonder if I restart now. So devices, configure, PoE, number 4, right? Because that was, 144. PoE restart. I just love the organization of this, like nice and clean. What's the model number here? This should be coming up, yeah. Dante model. The director, okay. So I reboot the director. It's requesting an IP address. Is it being given an IP address? That's the next question. Number 4. It's almost as if this unit is like having like a product, like a MAC address conflict or something. I wonder if I wonder if I power down the producer, if the director will show up. So this is wild. This shouldn't be the case, but let's just go ahead and turn off port 10. Yoink. Okay, port 10's down. So the producer should disappear. There she goes. Okay, producer's gone. And then I'm going to restart port 4. Yoink. Because here's the issue I was having before, and this is the way I was troubleshooting it, was the director would be online but the producer would have problems. Or the producer was online and the director would have problems. And so I'm wondering if one of them's offline, if the other one will behave. So the director is now sending out a broadcast packet, asking to join the network. Still hasn't been permitted. It has been given an IP address in the page, and these other devices are appearing correctly. Whoop. Where did the program feed go? Okay. Okay, the director has disappeared. So that's not right. And it's off of that page. So one more time. You know what? Let's do this old school. Let's go ahead and turn it off. And now let's just hit apply and let it reboot. You must first select an interface. All right. Turn it off. Success. Okay, no power on 4. Is there a way to, there's a way to label these, eh? So if we say overview, network profile, no. Port configuration, here it is. So let's make this a little easier for my future self here. Port 4, port description. What's going on here? Okay. No? Doesn't want to do it? That's strange. There we go. Boy, that was a very strange delay. Belt pack director. Apply. Okay. So, and the other one was what? 4 and 10, is that right? Yeah, 10. Port configuration. I'm typing, but this is very slow. Maybe we've got some gremlins. You know? You may be right. It might be time to reboot. All right, so now we're going to go to Power over Ethernet. Now we're going to go to Power over Ethernet. And we're going to go into the interface, port number 4, turn it back on, and hit apply. Yoink, done. Now we're going to watch it over a Dante controller and see what happens. Clock status monitor. Clear all, close. Okay, so there's the director. Don't go red. It's thinking about it. Wait, primary clock leader is belt pack director? Why? No. Clock status. Huh. I do not want this thing to be the clock leader at all. I wonder if that's our issue, especially if these AVIO units are trying to sync to that. Okay, so let's close down Dante controller first of all and reopen this app. I don't think this will do anything. I also need to probably restart the switch. Clock status. Device configuration. Interesting. Maybe we have updates that are out of date. Let's see if our updater can find anything. Huh. All devices are up to date. Okay. So that's not it. All right. So the next thing I guess I'll try is that switch reboot. I don't know if that's going to kick me off or not, but that's not the end of the world. Dante switch. Reboot now. Yeah. I got kicked off. Which is strange because I should have a failover on another switch for this computer, but anyway. Whatevs. See whenever it comes back here. It's a 3-minute reboot, so anyways, hopefully this has been fun watching me fumble around in my Dante network trying to figure out how to make this thing work. I'd love to iron out these issues because I'm kind of tired of waiting around for all my packs to work, but you know, not the end of the world. Oh, that's funny. I just got spammed. Yeah, I just got spammed from a fake PayPal account. These guys are getting really good. Looks pretty legit. All right, what else? We all enjoy a good fumble. Yep, as long as it's not football related. This is live troubleshooting right here. Unless there's a flag on the play, then you need a white hat. It's true. Okay, hey, we are back in action over here on our remote, and everything's back up. So, do we dare? Packet errors, good to go. Belt packs are coming up. It seems that I have a subscription status error on my Radius. So, where? Production micro. Oh, because I turned that one off. The director's online. Look at that. It's funny how that works. If you tried turning it off and on again. So, am I understanding this correctly that with Dante there is a need to turn things off and back on again? You know, I guess I was under the impression that it was basically just it runs and manages itself, but I started having all sorts of issues, and We'll go back to engage here, configure. Now, the director's belt pack came on, but that's probably because port 10, it could be because port 10 is off. And so if I power this on now, and everybody has their own DHCP address, so that shouldn't be an issue anymore, no networking issues. But since everybody, and let's just go ahead and look at the director's pack. Yeah, 20.16. So it took the address that I assigned it off of the card. So here comes the producer. Let's see if he gets his .20 address, which is the one that I assigned him. All right, so it's booting. We'll go to the router. Okay, program's on. AVIO is back on. So, you know, the answer is a reboot, unfortunately, which really sucks because I wish it wasn't the answer, but it is. Now, will the producer pack come on? And it has been assigned a separate IP address, so it should. Taking its sweet time, though. We open this and click on this. Oh, okay, it's feeding back a green status. That's good news. So let's go back to controller and device info, and let's just refresh this screen, and hopefully it pulls. Now, here's something interesting, too. I wonder if these ports that these devices are in, if I should go in and tell them not to auto-negotiate, but to go in and say, like, port 4 should operate just at 100 megs, you know? I wonder if the auto-negotiation piece is getting in the way. And I've seen that before, but truthfully, I've seen it on auto-negotiate disable, speed 100, apply. Because I've seen where the auto-negotiate doesn't happen very fast, and it causes a loop, in particular with 10 gigs to 1 gig. So SFP mods. If you have it set at SFP plus, and you put in SFP, you have to go in and tell the actual port, no, it's operate as a 1 gig. And then it works just fine. But you have to deliberately tell it. So maybe I'm going to disable the auto-negotiate, and I'm going to tell it, hey, I want you to purposefully run. Whoops. Yeah, I want you to purposefully run at 100. And that way it just sets it as a, you know, let's go ahead and save. Then it just sets it as a forced setting. Now, I'm pretty sure I said don't auto-negotiate. And yet, did it do it to 10 as well? What the? Okay, so that didn't work? Okay, 4 and 10. Right? 4 and 10. Set to disable auto-negotiate. What the heck? Oh, here. Ah. Oh my gosh. Doing this over remote is brutal. Speed 100. Apply. All right, so what the heck? Why? Why is it not changing the port configuration? Am I crazy? Are you guys watching me do this? All right, let's zoom out and like log out and log back in. It didn't do it. Auto negotiate. Disable. Auto negotiate. 100. Apply. This is wild. Oh my gosh, it didn't take. Am I missing something here? All right. Let's do this then. 100 full. Maybe I'm not filling out the whole thing. Is that why? Ah, I took it. Okay. All right, because I was leaving it on auto. All right, cool. So, new rule. When you're disabling the auto negotiation, you have to specify the speed and the duplex mode. So, duplex full. Apply. Okay, so now when we... Okay, calm down. Okay, so now when we scroll down, disabled on 4, disabled on 10. All right. Oh, look. The director and the producer are both connected. Everything is green. Huh.
Everything's coming up Millhouse.
I don't know if those things are related, but it certainly feels like it. You know? It certainly feels like it. That setting. Oh my gosh. That's so wild. So now, all right. One more thing I want to do here. Come along for the ride if you'd like. So inside of our network interface, right? So we've done 4 and 10. The why doesn't it give the short name that I assigned it here on this one? 4 and 10 are done. The next one though is 14, which is .17. 14, 16, 18, 14, 16, 18. Is 12? 12 has got to be... Okay, that's a gig link. And 24? Is this a gig? Yeah, that's a gig. So 24 is confirmed. Oh, is it going to show it to me here? That would be nice. So if I hover over 24, yeah, 20.10. So that's radius. So this guy right here, radius. Let's apply. Then I probably need to make some notes. Blink, blink. Hey, that's some quality troubleshooting. So if they were plugged into 1 gigabit ports, would that be less likely to happen? They are plugged into 1 gigabit ports. That's the thing is so the Dante devices are all 10100s. But they're plugged into 1 gig ports here on the switch. And then the switch is set to auto-negotiate. So it seems like at boot up, the devices are not able to figure out their request. The broadcast request goes out for an IP address, but also lists it at 10100. And the switch is not either recognizing it fast enough, so it's causing it to time out and go into a fallback mode, and then it's falling off red, right? So all the devices, all the belt packs are here now. Everything's showing up. I wonder if I were to reboot the belt packs, would they come back right away? Oh, this is cool. Okay, so director and producer are done. So pre-1 is 19, pre-2 is 18. So if I go here, pre-1 is, that's pre-2. So 16 is ProPresenter 2. And, oh, weird. I've never run into that before. Although, now I wonder if I have. Right? Isn't that the way it goes? It's always like, oh, shoot, like, I wonder if that was my problem. 21 and... Oh, shoot, what did I say? Belt Pack 2 was 18. Belt Pack 1 is 19. So in port 20 is ProPresenter 1. Okay. Let's apply. So the names are now added. Then the AVIO return is 17 and the program is 21. Program is port 18. And that must mean then 17 is the return, which is 14. Hit apply. Okay. So inside of Dante Controller, we can pull up the AVIO stuff, right? And if you look under the device configuration, if you look under the status, it tells you that the port is a 10100 port. So anything that's 10100, which is everything but the radius for me on the Dante side, is all 10100. So what we can do is, we already did the belt pack for them. So what we can do is you can say AVIO belt pack 2 program and ProPresenter 1, and we go across here and say disable auto negotiation, speed 100. Why is the duplex crossed out? Dang it. Oh. All right. Uncheck. All right, so 20. Disable. 100. Full duplex. Program. Disable. Disable. And there's one more. Disable. Right here. All right, so then we can say 100 full, 100 full, 100 full, and 100 full. We hit apply. Cool. Okay, so they are now all listed. So now if we say network profile overview, that's all functioning, and that's all functioning. We go back to our Dante controller. Shouldn't have disconnected anything. And everything is now listed at, it's still listed at 100. So then final tempt of fate before we call it a day here. 20, 18, 16, 14, 10, and 4 are my devices. If I PoE reset them, wish me luck. Bow, all gone. Okay, radius is here. Oh man. Did you see how fast that repopulated? Oh, that was awesome. That was so fast. I had a bird dog play run without an issue for 5 days in a show recently, and then the other day it wouldn't run for 10 minutes without dropping signals, glitching the HDMI signal, and then finally coming back. I want to know who in their right mind thought half duplex was ever the answer. Fair enough. You are correct, sir. Clear all, clear all. All right, clock status is clear. Oh my gosh, did I just fix this? I may have just fixed our issues. I can't believe, I mean, you kind of hope that's what happens, but I am going to be thrilled if I just discovered this little nugget of information. And honestly, I wouldn't have come across it unless I had had that previous experience with SFP plus modules, SFP plus ports misbehaving with SFP, because you can auto negotiate, right? You're supposed to be able to leave the SFP plus in auto negotiate, and it figures out this is just a 1 gig connection, so it should be running an SFP. It rarely does. And so much so on my Netgear switches. Matter of fact, I think it's set up that way here, if I'm not mistaken. These ports are SFP plus, but you'll notice that the link speed is set to full 1 gig. And that's because the other switch is not connected that way. Oh, hey, you want to see something also kind of neat?
That's pretty neat.
Go to here and open this little box. There are other trees in your topology that allow you to see other ways of logically working this out. So if you want to see, excuse me, if you want to see an abstract view, okay, you just do that. You can save it as a default if you want. If you want to see a physical view, this one's cool. You want to see a physical view of your network? Check this out. It has your connection types between the two. So we have a Netgear router with a single connection going into this switch. And if I click on that connection, it tells me what the data information is. If I've got errors, drop packets, all this stuff. Okay, now there's not much going on right now, so there's not much to see there. But if I click on this line is a trunk coming out of ports 28 and 27 into ports 11 and 12 on my production switch. If I click on that line, guess what? It shows me the trunk information, the lag information between all of these connections, which is so stinking cool. I learned this in the course, but it's so stinking cool. So it tells you color-coded, it's a 1 gig connection, but you can go up, any different color. Now, I may change this color to be blue because I like that better. And maybe the 10 gig I'm going to make green because I'm never probably going to get to 40 gigs, but I might get to 10 gigs. So here I've got 1 gig connections, and it's a great little topology. If you click on monitoring, you have to go in and tell it which lines to monitor. And in our instance, for this, I'm going to add the lag to the monitor and the lag from the Dante switch to the monitor. So now when I go out here, I can see those lag switches. Ooh, and I want to add this Netgear, this connection that I've got to the Dante switch on the monitor as well. So now I can see the network traffic right here on this screen. I'm not just restricted to looking at that menu tree. That's fine, but it's a little limiting in terms of like what it is. So I think that's pretty awesome, to be honest with you, that little view that we've got here. And then there's a couple other views. So there's location view if you have this enabled, and you can watch your IGP snooping querier. So your designated querier, which in my case is the Dante switch, is doing a overview of how it's doing multicast queries over your IGMP snoops. So that's pretty fun. I really love the physical layer option, and I'm going to make this my default. Check that out. You can also do like a traditional tree view. If you click this little button, it turns it into these like network, traditional network icons. But anyways, I like this the best, and so I'm going to show that. You can show spanning tree as well if you want. It doesn't change my excuse me. It doesn't show my system because I've only got 2 switches, but you can change the view of the topology, and you can set it as default so that you can basically view what's going on here. Now, the only thing I wish I could do is maybe change this logically, because I wouldn't mind having this Netgear switch over here, but I don't think that there's a way to edit that at all. So anyway, I love it. I think this is so stinking neat, and you can you can add monitoring to your list. So if you have a big network, you can see the logical layout, and then you can monitor those switches right here from the topology page. So that is awesome. Yeah, really cool stuff. Really cool. Okay, well, we've gone for a long time. I wasn't really expecting that. I thought I was running out of stuff to talk about 40 minutes into it. And lo and behold, we fixed my Dante network. So I didn't even know I had a problem. And yet I did. So there you go. I may go into this Dante switch, by the way, and I'm just going to lower this. I may go into this Dante switch, go into port number. Well, let me put it back up here for you. And I may just I may just manually set these Dante ports. So the radius has no issue, right, with auto negotiating because it is a gig port. But since I'm already in the business of doing that, of turning off the auto negotiation, then here on the radius, I might as well disable the auto negotiation and say speed 1000, auto full. Hit apply. And now that port will never change speeds. Matter of fact, I don't think. Oh, the only other thing, I guess, is this network port is running on. Is it plugged in? It's got to be plugged into the Dante network, right? Yeah. So, all right, let's do this instead. Networks and sharing. Network connections. And, okay, so which one is it? All right, so my Dante network is Ethernet 3. So Ethernet 3, oh shoot. Ethernet 3 is at 100. And so port, oh, it's not running PoE, that's why. So this guy, and where's the other green one? 12. So 12 is the computer. So the computer has no issue auto-negotiating, but I do want to label it just to be sure that I'm not going to have any issues. So whenever the typing wants to happen, there we go. And hit apply. There. And now that is much better than before. This is all kind of organized as helpful organization. Again, I wish if you like hovered over the unit, over the port, it would tell you the short name, the port description that you gave it. I feel like it should add that to, I feel like it should add that automatically. Port 9 is our auto trunk from the router. But here, see, if I hover over 10, it still just says odd night party line. Shouldn't it? It should give the description that I gave it too, because I spent time customizing that. But whatever, you can't have everything, and that is a minor problem that I got going on there. So, man, this is a huge relief to have all of these devices functioning correctly. It did seem to be a port negotiation problem, and I got tons of room for expansion. All the routing came back as expected. That's
pretty neat.
It is pretty neat. Everything is mapped correctly now. The clock is now timing correctly. I mean, I'm going to go out and say it. I cannot be 100%, but I'm pretty sure that we had auto negotiation for speed was the issue, is that the switch was trying to give a gig and these ports were only 100. And I think they eventually got there, but I don't think that they I think they had major issues trying to negotiate. So if you just stop that request and say this is only 100 port, and maybe on your Dante network minus your DSP, maybe on your Dante network you make it a standard that all those ports are not auto negotiating, they're just purely 100 megs. Because that's what most AVIO units and Dante units, Dante chip cards, they're all 100. It's one less thing to negotiate. But when I rebooted the PoE and we were watching the actual device list, they all popped back on all at once. Like they were all issued IP addresses right away. Every IP address is correct. So when we were looking at this screen and I rebooted the PoE, it all came back right away. And so I'm going to be honest with you. I think that might have been our issue. I think that might have been contributing to the issue. It may not be the core issue, but my clock is now up to date, working correctly. And if we go to clock status, everything's green. So that's awesome. Really happy that we kind of stumbled upon that together. All right, folks, I'm going to let you go. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate it. I need to jump over to the other show that is, there we go. Randy says, that was just the theory. So yeah, next week we're going to talk about streaming theory and bring your thoughts. The overarching theme is pre-recorded live shows suck. That's the title. So think about it for a week. Let me know what you're thinking, and we'll talk about it next week. In the meantime, take care of yourselves. Do not forget that yours truly has now gotten his certification not only with the AV Level 1. I have submitted everything for AV Level 2, so I'm waiting to hear back on that. But also the switching for AV over IP. I have that certification as well. So if you are interested in signing up for services like that, you can be confident that I have those certifications. Also, I am a Netgear Drive partner, meaning that I'm able to get better support out of Netgear quicker, 24 hours here in the US. I'm able to buy products from Netgear. So if you're looking for specific products or you need to make an order, I can help you with that. Definitely get those things going. And I'm working with my local distributor, Broadfield, out of New York, to get my hands on some NDI gear, some more Dante gear, specifically Turtle AV gear. I'm looking at trying to get some more of that stuff and get any of that stuff, actually. but they're going to be my primary provider. So also, they just brought on Elgato. They have a lot of camera products. They have a lot of stuff. So if I can get my paperwork over to them and get signed up and squared away, then we can be good to go with Broadfield as well. And you can then, of course, order products through me, and that would be great. And I would be very interested in helping you with that project. So take care of yourselves out there. Thank you so much for coming along for this ride. Always appreciate you. And as always, take care of yourselves and each other. Where did my... there it is, VMix Socials. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will definitely see you in there. Hey, turn on AES 67 mode. It enables them to use PTP version 2 even if you don't make any AES 67 flows. Interesting. That is interesting. I'm gonna look into that. Thanks for that little tidbit. See, that's why you stay till the end, folks, because you get it all for the same price. So take care of yourselves, guys. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Chad. Thank you, Angus. Thank you, Randy, for chiming in, and Jeremy. I know you're off to working hard, so take care of yourselves out there, guys. And we'll see you all in the next one next week, Wednesday at 10 o'clock, and we'll chat about our streaming theory topic. Take care of yourselves. Bye, guys.